What's going on, everybody? Good evening, good evening. Federal prison time with RDAP. I know it's everybody's most favorite. At least that's what I tell myself anyway. We are a couple minutes early. What time do we got here, fellers? I've got like 3 clocks everywhere. I've got a watch, a phone, and a clock. And I sit here and fidget with the computer trying to find the clock on the computer. So we'll give everybody a couple minutes to pop in the room. You can take this time, if you haven't already, sent the word YouTube to phone number 35074 to receive live notifications of when the videos are going to go. Again, all you got to do is text the word YouTube to phone number 35074, and that will put you on my notification list. All right. Stephanie McLovin, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. McLovin, hey, Dan, hey, awesome. I'm glad you could finally get on and get into the channel. Give everybody a few minutes. Looks like the room's piling up there pretty fast. That's what I like to see. Everybody's on time. Be there or be square. Wonder where that term came from. Who started the term be there or be square? It's kind of a retarded term when you think about it. I guess be square back in the day meant something like what? Like a nerd or goody two shoes or something like that. Somebody called me a goody two shoes in one of my in one of the comments on, I think it was on the Big Herc video. A lot of people don't like that video, by the way, but me no care. So we got 7 people in the room. For those of you that know Todd Hansen, he surrenders Friday, and I'm actually going to shoot him a text here in a little bit, and he's going to give me a call. We're going to put him on speakerphone so you guys can say some last-minute things to him and kind of let him chat. Oh, he's here. Awesome. Welcome, Todd. Welcome. So Todd made it. So there you go. Todd's in the room. Well, that's great, Todd. Glad you could join us. That's crazy. As you guys can see, the topic tonight, letters to the judge, how important are they? And for whatever reason, a lot of you not only don't understand the importance to them, it's like you misunderstand. And how do I rephrase that? Like, you know the letters are important, but yet even after we have conversations, even those of you, a lot of you that are clients, when we have this conversation about what needs to go in the letter and you're like, I got it. And then I get the letters back from you, whether it be your narrative or your reference letters from your friends and family, and I read it, it's like, oh, I want to headbutt the computer. But it just goes to show that there really is a need for what I do and the services that I provide. And we actually have a letter right here in my hands. I blacked out, information on there so I don't accidentally read the client's name. But I'm going to make sure you guys get to hear this letter because I think it's real important to understand. And this is very common for this type of stuff to come into a letter. Hold on one second. Somebody says they can't see the live chat. I see all of you are on, so let me send that link. Got the link on standby because it happens every night. Every night somebody's like, oh, I didn't get the whatever. So I have to text the live link out. John Goff, what up, John? Kimberly. Hey, Jay. Got Jay in the house tonight. That's nice. What do we got? We got 10 people in the room. All right, so let's kind of just jump into this a little bit, and then once we get through this part of it, we will discuss the letters a little bit. I'm sorry, we'll talk with Todd a little bit because I know Todd's going to be leaving. And if I would have thought about it, I'm using this new software. It's called OBS, and I know it can be done. I just don't know how to do it yet, where I can add somebody to it, like how we did with last time I interviewed with Todd. I was using a different software. I was using Google Hangouts, which I could have done tonight, and I didn't think about it. Todd just shot me a text like 30 minutes ago, and it was just, I didn't have time to prepare to switch it over to that. So I apologize. I would have loved to have had Todd on. maybe I can finagle something before Todd goes with a video. Maybe we'll do a special live show with Todd like tomorrow or something if Todd's got time. But I'll talk to Todd about that. Todd's like, fuck, you're putting me on the spot. How can I say no? You just said it on live YouTube. Everybody's going to expect it. So now I got to do it. Sorry, Todd. Thank you so much, Chris, Kim, Keith, Kevin, for all of the kind words running around. So I have to not been able to get back to some of you. It's crazy. Todd's making that final approach to, not to prison. He's off to his opportunity. He's off to his new experience. All right, so let's jump into this. So one of the common services when you guys hire me, most people hire me for letters, for personal narratives, character reference letters, help with getting into RDAP, help with additional halfway house, coaching, which a lot of you come to find out that the coaching process pretty much is probably trumps everything else that you end up needing or end up getting, just because of the levels of anxiety and that roller coaster that the chatting and the coaching and the discussions and the real talk really helps a lot of you calm down. McLovin, Dan, I have a question. 24 months. I leave in July. Is there a way I can write my judge a letter to lessen my time even more? Probably not. If you've already been sentenced, there's probably nothing you can do as far as dealing directly with the judge. You can get additional halfway house time, which you and I can speak about if that's something you'd be interested in, which can get you home sooner. But we'll talk about that if you want, McLovin. You see my phone number is at the top of the screen. Where can I point here? It's right up in this area behind my finger. You can text me if you want, McLovin. And I know you sent me a message. It was either on Facebook or a text. I can't remember exactly, but yes, got it there. Michael in the house. Hey, Mike, what's going on, bud? All right, so we'll jump into these letters. Also, real quick, before we jump into the letter, I finally was able to have an actual conversation with Joe from After Prison Show, and I'm so pissed off that you won't be here to see it, Todd, but next week, Joe and I are going to be doing some videos together, at least one or two, which I'm completely excited about that because I've been watching this guy for a long time, and I've got ridiculous amount of respect for him. Our content's not identical, but I mean, the guy spent time in prison. He found a way to reinvent himself and move past criminal activities and things that led down a dark path. He spent a few different times in prison. So, usually they say when you spend all that time in prison several different times, it becomes a pattern that you can't break. And it looks like Joe is on the right path to break it. So I think that's awesome. So it's really cool that I'll be able to do that. And hopefully that will, not only grow my channel, but just grow the word, spread the word. All right. So enough about Joe. Fuck you, Joe. No, I'm just kidding. Joe's awesome. All right, so here we go. We're going to talk about this letter. So I've got a client. He's hasn't been sentenced yet, and just like everybody else, wants to do everything they can do to best prepare the best that they can to their ability to try to be ready mentally to go in, B, try to get a lesser sentence, obviously, and just be able to deal with the process and know what to expect. So part of that, possibly reducing your sentence, if you don't have a minimum mandatory, part of reducing your sentence, having a solid personal narrative, character reference letters with a track record to go with it. Like, what have you been doing on your pretrial? What have you been doing with probation? Have you been doing community service? Things like this. So when you write your letters, they're super important. And I've told you guys so many times that you don't want to write letters that are, oh, poor me. He's such a good guy. I'm sorry for what I did. My kids are going to be sad without me. All of this stuff because a judge reads it a million times. So now I tell that to you guys. So what do you think I tell a client that's actually said, here's money to help me prepare my letter? I mean, I'm blue in the face. I tell the clients, and I even send a template with a sample of a personal narrative and a character reference letter of other clients. Todd is one of the personal narratives that we use to send out, so you guys can kind of see how a personal narrative should be written. So then it gives you an idea where to start. So when you get it back to us, we go in and make edits, recommendations, and get it ready. So this was a character reference letter that we received a couple days ago for a client. This is from the client's ex-wife, who is on, I know you would think, of course, it's going to be a shitty letter from the ex-wife. She probably hates him. But honestly, the ex-wife and the ex-husband get along really, really well. So her heart was in the right place. It was just completely the wrong choice of words. And I'm going to let you guys listen to it and try to be as objective as possible. Do not be mean. Do not be judgmental. Do not allow yourself to say anything negative about this. Now you can critique it and you can say what you feel. But if you're going to be nasty and mean, I will remove you from the channel because the client gave me permission to read this, even though I'm not going to say his name. I don't want to make people feel a certain way. Okay. So that's not the intent of this. The intent of this is so those of you that are getting ready to go down this path, you can understand how important it is to really put time and effort into these letters and make sure that you understand what's actually supposed to go into the letter, because that's a lot of it. You may actually put tons of effort into it, but if you're spending all that energy going in the wrong direction, you might as well have wrote, go fuck yourself, judge, and sentence me to as much as you can, because it has the same effect. So without further ado, we're going to read this letter, but I need some respect from you guys, courteous, don't say anything stupid, but speak your mind. Boy, put a filter on that one. All right, here we go. I get nervous when I read. Dear Your Honor, greetings. My name is blank. I'm a retired school teacher. I retired from the Hampstead Public School System in New York, currently living in Dry Ridge, Kentucky. I am currently a business and property owner here in Kentucky. I am the mother of blank, daughter. So basically this is the stepwife. She is the mother of the client's daughter as well. Her name is blank. She is 23 years old and a student at the Los Angeles Film Academy. She is a well-mannered and polite young lady. She is ambitious and is working very hard in her education and career. She means so much to her dad and me, or this means so much to her dad and me as all kinds to their parents. We have put so much into her upbringing. This brings me to what a great dad he has been to his only child. Even though we are no longer together, 17 years, he has never stopped being a present dad in her life. From giving child support without rebellion to making sure her dance classes are paid to ordering birthday cakes, he has given himself to his parenting, and he has never dropped the ball. To this day, he is involved in her day-to-day life. Our family is sitting on pins and needles, stressed to the max. We are extremely upset with him. However, I don't understand how the dentist that was caught didn't get any punishment whatsoever. He has admitted to the police in his testimony his activities with stealing. I also understand that this person has been ripping off New Jersey for 15 to 20 years and didn't get any kind of punishment. How is that? We are usually seeing the client with a positive outlook on life. However, that is surely not the case. His happy-go-lucky attitude has changed to hand-wringing and pacing. He is so very sad. We feel devastated about what has happened. I can't believe that this is the whole story. However, here we are, and we're very upset about this. It's very difficult for her, being the daughter, to concentrate on her schoolwork with this hanging over her head. She and her dad had a great relationship until she learned what happened. It hurt her, which in turn destroyed him, and now her father is trying to mend the damage. Your Honor, him going to prison will be such a hardship for all of us. If anyone should be given a second chance, it should be him. This is bigger than he is. So many people look up to him and depend on him, not only in our family, but communities as well. No joke. I know you hear this a lot, but it's true. For black men, just everyday life is a real challenge. He is challenged every single day, although it is with him that made this terrible decision. He also paid in so many ways by losing so many things he holds as importance, like job, his book deal. He never gets a break. Ask yourself, will the world benefit from him going to jail or staying out in the world helping others? He talks to people about problems in their lives and offers solutions. Just ask him for a list of all the helpful things he does. He does something that society should actually give him an award for. He talks to other black men that maybe feel very beat down. He encourages them to stay strong and that there's better days to come. Just hold on. If he goes to jail, a lot of people will be hurt. He does a lot of kind things and he can be amazing. I think that the courts should embrace this man and show the world he cannot be made the scapegoat and really consider doing something other than sending him to jail. I know there are other alternatives. He can be used to speak to young people, work with so many groups. Please don't waste this man's potential to do well. He deserves a second chance. Turn a negative into a positive. He went to college and earned a degree. He started working for a company that planned to retire from. He's trying very hard to redeem himself and what he has done. How devastating to him this whole situation is. Over and over, he has paid the price throughout this ordeal, and he will continue to pay with finding employment after all of this is over. More punishment like imprisonment is truly too much. He has done the right thing most of his life and now is faced with this. Please help him get this blemish off so he may continue his path of upward mobility. Again, I'm not happy about what happened. However, not only is my family going to suffer, but the community and all the lives he influences. As an older American, I have seen many changes. One change I hope to see in a lifetime is the black man really gets a fair trial or at least given a second chance at life for a mistake he has done. If you need to speak with me, please do not hesitate to call. Thank you for your time. Okay, there we go. So, apologize, a little bit nervous reading that for some reason. So there's a couple of, what did you guys notice with that letter? Was it a bad letter? No. Was it a letter from the heart? Absolutely. Was there good intentions in that letter? Absolutely. But what did you guys pick up from watching my videos, from talking to me for a while? What did you guys pick up on that letter? If you guys were actually listening, I know you guys are all engaged with Todd right now, but what do you guys really feel with that letter? So I'll wait for some feedback from all of yous to see kind of where you guys are with that. So you guys are pretty much nailing it right on the head. We got Todd, too long, playing the victim, not enough about the victim. John Goff, most of the letter was placing blame on things other than her ex-husband. When you start bringing things into it, like, obviously we're talking about a black gentleman here, clearly, with the comments that she was making. When you start saying things like, giving the black man a chance or giving the black man a fair trial, regardless how true that may or not be, when you're going to federal court, you're going to state court, and you're going in front of a judge, when you start saying things like this, you do not know what kind of answer you're going to get back from a judge. You don't know this judge's personal preference. You don't know if this judge is racist. You don't know if he's not racist. You don't know if he's heard this a million times. You don't know where his mind is. So when you automatically go to a state of mind where you say something so just not really well thought out, and that's what comes out of your mouth, you can have a ton of bullets fired back at you to the point where, all kinds of shit can happen. Clearly in here, she's not holding him responsible for what he did. Yes, she said it's upset them and it's upset the daughter, but at the same time, she's sitting there saying that the other person in the crime didn't get any time and they should have gotten more because they're more culpable than he was. Well, we don't know the whole situation. We don't know if the other guy was the first. We all know in the system, whoever cooperates first usually gets a better deal. There's all kinds of, life's not fair. In a letter like this, where you're pretty much telling the judge that he doesn't deserve to go to prison and that you should give him probation or something other than prison time, you're kind of telling the judge what to do, and the judges do not take kind to that at all. It's very common to see letters like this. It's very common to see letters where they're using the children and how hard this is going to be on a child. And the judges are always going to come back and say the same thing. These are all things you should have thought about. If you bring up the other person that's in trouble, he's going to say, well, the other person's not the issue here. We're here to talk to your husband. I'm not the judge on that case, or whatever the answer is. The judge is going to have an answer. You're never going to get the judge to go, you're right. You're never going to strike that sympathy chord. You're never going to get that connection with the judge that you're looking for if you're going in this direction. So the good thing is Will's got a team behind him that's able to intercept these letters, make necessary changes, and send them back out. Almost every single one of his letters that he sent in from himself, character references, friends, every single one of them had this tone. Every one of them had this tone. Most clients that send letters have that tone. The tone of kind of lessening the responsibility, becoming a little bit of the victim, asking that, hey, he deserves, not asking, but almost saying he deserves a second chance, that you're almost being too hard on him. You got to realize that all of this has been seen before by the judge. If you want to be different and you want to stand out in front of the judge, you have to do something that they are not used to seeing. If you're not willing to be different, like he also sent me his allocution, and his allocution was great. The whole beginning, the whole middle, the whole end was on point. In the very end, he's asking for something other than prison time. Not good. It's not good to sit there and ask the judge you don't want to ask the judge to give you probation. You just don't. It's okay to say things like, if you do decide to give me prison time, I'm looking forward to this time in prison to better myself so I can come out a person that no longer makes these type of decisions. So I can understand how my mind was able to make such irrational decisions. Completely taking responsibility. That's when a judge is going to look at you and go, this guy gets it. This guy's working on it. This guy is saying something to me different than the other 9 million people I saw in the last year. If you're not willing to do that, and you're not willing to put some effort and trust in somebody like us and our team to make sure that you're on the right path, we're not going to write your letters for you. We're going to make you work on them. You're going to send them in. You're going to understand why there's errors in there. We're going to explain it to you. We're going to have conversations. We're going to make sure you understand, because at the end of the day, it's up to you to submit whatever it is you want to submit. We can make all the changes in the world. And if you still want to submit what you originally had, you're still going to submit it. I can't make you submit something different. So guys, it's super important. If you don't allow the idea of not having enough money prevent you from sending me your letters. That's all I can say. Read between the lines on that. If we have to read it and give you some feedback, doesn't mean we're going to redo your letters, and it's not going to go through our editing team, and it's not going to go through grammar and spell check and all that stuff. But I can give you some fair common sense back and go, yeah, you don't want to send that, and this is why. Give it more of this tone if you're looking for any type of successful, end game to this at all. It doesn't mean you have to pay money, but geez, man, if you have the ability to email me a letter, email it. I will read it and I will give you honest feedback, and it's not going to cost you a dime to do that, guys. So please take this stuff super serious, because this is your last stand. Personal narratives and character reference letters are your last stand before sentencing. That is the last thing the judge is going to hear before he imposes a sentence down on you. So if you think it's meaningless and it's not going to have any chance, then okay, you can sit in prison and wonder, what if I had done things a little bit differently? What would have done? Todd's over here promoting RDAP turned 30 years, and I didn't turn 30 years into 97 months. As much as I would love to take all the credit for that, the credit I'm due is Todd called me at the right time. Me and Todd had a really good, organic, honest conversation. Todd was open to feedback. Todd was willing to do the necessary steps that needed to be put in place. We wound it up. We pointed in a direction. We gave him some guidelines. We gave him some bumper rails. We gave him some uplines, so when he had questions or feeling shitty, he had somebody to call. But Todd made the conscious decision to navigate through, like so many of you decide to do the same thing. But where I come into play is steering you out of the wrong direction, because you may think that's the right direction. So we always talk about irrational thoughts versus rational thoughts, and that's what we're here for, to help you help yourself. I can't help you if you don't want to help yourself, though. I don't see, what's our buddy's name in here that's been dodging me and afraid to call now for a couple weeks? I don't know why his name just went blank on me, but I thought tonight would be a good fitting. I've just had a lot of clients right now that are either getting sentenced, or they're accepting their pleas, or they're actually going through the actual indictment. A lot of these guys have been out on they haven't even been indicted yet. It's been like pre-indictment type stuff, waiting to get indicted. Jesse Tang, thank you, John. Yeah. So, I know Jesse's out there listening somewhere. He may not be talking in the room right now, but I know Jesse pays attention. El Gordo, or El Gordo's one of them. But, when I saw Jesse after we had these conversations where we kind of beat up on Jesse a little bit, I finally saw him subscribe to the channel. So it's like, baby, some people move at a different pace, and that's okay. It's just a matter of making it happen when it needs to happen. So Todd's leaving Friday. It's been crazy that he's got to stay out this long. Todd was thinking he was going to be sitting in county jail this entire time. So now, from going to a medium to going to a camp. I did speak to Serge. I know a lot of you have been asking about Serge. Serge is actually still there. He hasn't transferred out yet. He's actually where Todd's going. So Todd, you'll probably run into Serge when you get there. I'll email Serge tonight, ask him what unit he's in. So he's blanking out again. Is it cutting out again, guys? Is the audio and video choppy like last time? Please tell me it's not. I can't deal with this kind of stress. The anxiety's killing me. I need a YouTube coach to talk me off the ledge. Yeah, I'll send him an email tonight and try to get specifically where he's at and send it to you before you go. It's good tonight. All right, Brian, thank you for that update. Thank you for the update. Hey, who in this room hasn't texted the word YouTube to 35074 yet? Anybody? Any takers? Huh? We got to get that number up. We are almost to 1,000 subscribers, guys. And all I know is if I don't hit 1,000 by next week, if this actually happens with me and Joe and we do this video together, I think I'll be over 1,000. But we'll see. It's good stuff. I actually talked to him a couple times. Spoke to him yesterday. He called me up today. We spoke a little bit. And we've got some pretty good ideas, some things coming down the pipe. So it will be fun. Hackers. What are we talking about, hackers? Who's hacking? Is somebody hacking my YouTube channel? That would be heartbreaking. If somebody hacked into my YouTube channel and deleted my videos or deleted my subscribers, that would probably cause me to break down. Joe with After Prison Show, Keith. If you haven't gone to YouTube, if you haven't gone to Joe's channel on YouTube, you should probably check it out. He's got a prison channel. It's a little bit different content than mine. It's more entertainment value, but man, it's and he's got some good interviews on there too. So it's not purely entertainment, but you should check it out. After Prison Show with Joe. He's got a couple more subscribers than me, about 500,000 more. But hey, man. We all grow and spread our wings at our own pace. But I'm super excited because I've been watching him now for several months and finally got his attention on one of his live shows. If you guys notice on some of the live different YouTube channels where they're live, you have the ability to tip the person where you can tip $5 or $500, whatever you want to tip. If you like their content, you like what they're talking about, and you're just trying to show support and you want to tip them money, you can tip money. And usually when they tip money, a comment comes up on the screen, and out of courtesy, the YouTuber like Joe, he'll read the comment. So I tipped him some money and threw a comment in there because I've been trying to reach him forever, but he gets so many messages that they go unknown. So yeah, finally made it. What's up, Chris? Hey, Chris, before I forget, I spoke to Serge. I know you were asking me. I spoke to Serge. He still has not been transferred yet. He's thinking he's going to be transferred any minute. That's what the doctor told him. But he's still there, has not been transferred yet. So Todd should run into him when he gets there. Thank you, John. That's awesome. That's one of the benefits of having 1,000 subscribers. You can turn features on like that where you can have people that are able to tip right through the chat. So and about 40 more subscribers for those of you that want to tip rdapdan. Tips are accepted. I have my blind man tip jar out. Tips for the poor. What did I just see? APS team. Kimberly, she knows all about APS. That's right. So you remember I told you guys something that I did, right? And I said it was kind of shady and stuff. Well, it wasn't really shady, okay? It could be conceived as shady. But I decided not to be shady with it, and I decided to use it for good because I don't need any bad karma. So my web guy that does my, not just my website, but he does like a lot of back end little tweaking here and there. He calls me up one day about a month ago, and he's like, hey, do you know what URL is available? And I'm like, no, I have no idea. He goes, get this. Afterprisonshow.com is available. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. How is that even possible? Like, Joe's got that channel so blown up. How does he not own the name Afterprisonshow.com? It's like, how does he not own the name Afterprisonshow.com? Because that's the name of his show, After Prison Show. That's what he's got on all of his shirts. That's what he's got. But he didn't own the name. Now, I think he did own it at one time, but then he no longer owned it. So I looked into it, and it was on an auction, and there was a buy it now on that auction for, I don't know, it was a few $100. So I said, fuck it, buy it. So I bought the name afterprisonshow.com, and I didn't know exactly what I was going to do with it at the moment, but I really felt bad doing I really felt bad doing something with it that was going to like steal people, or if people were going to it thinking it was him, getting them to land on my YouTube channel. That sounded kind of messed up in my mind. And the thought did cross my mind, I'm not going to lie. But I don't want to be, I ain't got to live my life like that no more. So what I did actually, if you guys go type in afterprisonshow.com, now I own the name. I do. I own the URL. But you tell me where it goes, and I'll let one of you check that out and tell me where it goes. And you can post it in the room. But I thought it was pretty cool, and it just goes to show you got to watch every little thing, because there are some crazy people out there that will take whacks at you. And I can tell you right now, if Big Herc got a hold of AfterPrisonShow.com, he would not have done what I did with it. I can promise you that. I've watched a few more of his shows, and he really, really does not like After Prison Show. He doesn't like Joe, and I don't know why. Maybe because he sees them as competition, and they are kind of in the same area as, entertainers. So has anybody looked it up yet? Has anybody gone to afterprisonshow.com? Do you remember our conversation, Dan? I'm not sure, Kevin. I'm not sure. Well, thank you, Keith. I appreciate that. But I'm sure somebody's checked it out by now. But so I forwarded that name to Joe's YouTube channel, to After Prison Show's YouTube channel. So now if somebody goes to afterprisonshow.com, it just goes to his channel. Before, it wasn't going anywhere. It was going to, URL not found or error 404, whatever the fuck it was. It was going somewhere else. And I was like, man, how does this guy not have it? Well, the fact that he's going to put me on a show and, help me promote my channel, that's worth that several times over. So I'm going to talk to Joe in a couple days, and we'll talk about, I'm just going to transfer it over to him so he can have that name on his server and do what he wants with it. Or should I hold it hostage for a couple of weeks to make sure he does videos with me? No, but no, Joe's a cool guy. Yeah, it's got to be rough, man. And it's not easy making these videos. And he does a video pretty much every single day. Donovan's case. I spoke to you. Oh, yes, I do remember that, about your friend Donovan. Yes. Tell me some more. Refresh my memory, but I definitely remember the name Donovan. But yeah, it's doggy dog out there, man. And there's always somebody out there that wants to see you do bad. There's always somebody out there that if they can take a plug at you, they'll take a plug at you. And I get it. I'm not one to like hate on somebody for doing what's necessary to survive. But with what we do, it's so different than what other prison videos and prison entertainment videos. It's even different than the other prison consulting videos, because look, I'm not the guy that's gonna, white collar you to death, but all of the services and the benefits that we can give you that these white collar other prison consultants offer, we offer every single one of them. And I can't say that we're better than they are or worse than they are because I really don't know. They keep their stuff pretty tight down and secret. And I have some secret ingredients and some secret people that work behind the scenes. I've got a writer that I know nobody else has. I know nobody in the industry has a writer like this. So that makes me real confident in what we can do. But it's crazy to know that they charge, best case scenario, $3,500, unless they're really getting beat up on the price and they're whatever, $3,500 up to $10,000, where, my typical price point starts at $14.95, and it gives you everything. It gives you personal narratives, character reference letters. It gives you full coaching. It gives you access, obviously, to all the videos, which doesn't cost anything anyway. It gives you RDAP preparation. It gives you your preparation for your PSR report. When the PSR report comes back, it includes the reviews. It includes additional halfway house assistance. It includes letters that are going to be written on the behalf to get it covers everything from A to Z. And that's what people will say is, well, what do I get for that fee? It's like, look, there's pretty much, the question is what don't you get? And there's nothing that you don't get. The only thing we won't do is we won't lie. We won't be unethical. We won't make shit up. Other than that, there's nothing that you don't get when you decide to hire us. And that's why we've made such an impact into the scene, because there is no need, and you cannot justify charging somebody $10,000. You just can't. There's nothing that we can do that is worth $10,000. I don't care if you've got millions of dollars sitting in the bank. What we do is, yes, there's a value associated to it, but what is our actual hard cost to do it? It's time. It's time and effort. And what is somebody else going to say? Well, I put more time into it nobody puts more time into it than I do. I can tell you that right now. And how do I know that? Because I know that from feedback from you guys. I know when you guys tell me that, hey, when I call other guys, they won't answer the phone. They dance around the question. It's all pitch related to baiting me in for a sale. How much money do I got? How much can I afford on a credit card? We don't do that. If I get somebody on the phone that's like, hey man, I'm broke. I know your fee's $1,500 and I'm going to pay you, but can I give you a couple $100 down to? It's like, hey, I was in your position. I know what it's like. I'm not going to say no. If you're making an effort, we're going to make an effort to make sure you're getting what you need. It's just insane that everybody's not doing that. I don't understand why. I don't know why they charge as much as they do. I think they've gotten a little too big for their britches, a little bit cocky. So, but some guys just connect better with that persona. If you sit there and I don't know. I don't want to say you look like a used car salesman or act like you're trying to sell something, but, this is as real as it gets. RDAPdan is not going to bluff you. I'm not going to bullshit you. I had a client call me today, or a potential client call me today, and he's telling me he's talking to somebody else, and they're telling him because his wife is sick, they're going to be able to use that as a reason to get him into RDAP when he was denied for RDAP because he didn't have the proper information in his PSR, but somebody's telling him, well, because your wife's sick, we can get him to overlook that. It's like, that doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. And as much as I'd like that guy to come hire me and give me the $1,500 versus giving this guy $7,500, there's nothing that we can do in that situation. Now, there's attempts that we can make. We can write letters to Grand Prairie, Texas. We can show, they made a mistake on the PSR. There's always something to try to do. But when you're look, if I pay you $7,500 and I think I'm getting into RDAP, I'm expecting to get into RDAP. The other big thing that they use is a lot of guys that can get into RDAP don't qualify for the year off. They might have some violence in their past. There might be something stopping them from getting any time off, but they can still get into RDAP. So they use that as we guarantee to get you into RDAP. So what good is getting into RDAP? Now, before you answer that, in your mind right now, you want to take RDAP for the time off. You're not thinking about the actual benefits, the cognitive skills you might learn. You're thinking about the year off. So if you paid me $7,000, $10,000 to get into RDAP, and I got you into RDAP, but all of a sudden you found out you don't get the year off, you'd be pretty upset. And I should know whether you're going to be able to get the year off or not up front. So if I didn't say anything to you, it's because I'm hiding something and misleading because I want your money. Give me your 16 digits. Visa starts with a 4. You got to watch out for the snakes out there. Dan, we can feel and see the difference. You speak from the heart, and I could tell. Oh, thank you, Keith. I appreciate that. And that's the thing, man. I've lived my life of shadiness. I've done things that I'm remorseful of. I've done things in my past that I'm ashamed of, and I can't believe that I allowed myself to make such poor decisions. I didn't grow up with a silver spoon. I didn't grow up with a trust fund. I grew up hustling. I grew up working hard. Even though I made a bunch of shitty decisions, even when I was doing shady stuff, I was busting my ass. And if I'd busted my ass in the right direction, I probably would have made just as much money doing the right thing. But I was always kind of drawn to stuff that's in the gray area, on the edge. I wanted to live life, it was Fast and Furious. Not the movie. But I've learned going through all of this, and maybe part of it's my age now, part of it's going to prison, part of it's RDAP, part of it's my children. There's so many different little pieces that are starting to connect now that have made me see things in such a different way. And it's caused me to make some really, really good choices and opening up and being, I'm honest to the world. Like I'm honest to my friends, I'm honest to my family, I'm honest to you guys. This is how I am 24/7. So when I say that I do not think there's a more suited prison consultant for just about everybody out there that's getting ready to go through the situation other than myself, I really believe that when I say that, because I see what's out there. And it's just, and you guys know what I'm talking about. When you talk to them, there might be something, you can't put your finger on it, but something just doesn't feel right, but you need the help so bad that you don't know where else to turn. It's like dealing with your attorney. It's like, okay, this is the attorney I got. I have to deal with it. And it is what it is. I don't have a ton of options. I can't go drop another 50 grand here, 50 grand there. Well, the benefit you guys have is you got these videos. You've got me coming on here 3 times a week, sometimes more. You guys got my cell phone. You guys got my email. So you get to see the real thing. We got a troll in the room. Who's the troll? Who's the troll? Who's the little green troll? Beat feet, Abe. Abe's a troll. What's Abe saying? Incognito likes to hear himself talk. Oh, that's the only comment I saw from Abe. It's been a while. We haven't had a troll. Did we get a troll last week? I love that word troll. I still think of South Park. Do you guys think of South Park when you hear the word troll? Public defender. Yeah, whether you get a public defender or a federally appointed attorney, public defenders are more on the state side. Fed side is, you've got your federal appointed attorneys, which usually aren't bad attorneys. The problem is most attorneys get accustomed to not really needing to work too hard because they're used to being able to give you a little bit of information. Giving you just a little bit is way more than what you already knew, so that will usually suffice the common person in your situation until you join rdapdan's YouTube channel and you become slightly enlightened by some new profound questions to go ask your attorney. Before I sign this 5K, what? Before I sign this Rule 35, what's going to happen? What kind of prison am I going to go to? And when you ask your attorney, well, am I going to the camp low or medium? And he's like, fuck, I don't know. You want me to go do those calculations? I bet the attorney wants to say, have you seen the way you have to calculate this? It's not like a spreadsheet that you plug in some quick numbers and it spits out a number. There's an actual serious algorithm to that I'm sure